Hi, this is Dave Rose, founder of Undo the Hairball, and your host for the Building Your Legacy podcast. Each episode is designed to give you inspiration and information on your journey through empty nest and retirement planning. Through a series of interviews, book reviews, personal insights, and stories, my intention is to give you actionable, thought-provoking, stimulating questions that'll lead you to take action to building your best life. It's my belief that the biggest motivator we have when we leave the workforce is to build a personal legacy that we can be proud of for generations to come. So sit back, relax, and enjoy building your legacy. Hi, this is Dave Rose, and welcome to episode 5 of the Undo the Hairball podcast. This month's episode is entitled Celebrating 1 Year of Personal Legacy Building. I thought after my discussion a year ago with my then boss about my plans for the future and making the mutual determination that it was time for me to enter into what at that point we were calling the retirement phase, that I needed to have a different approach than what I see many of my friends doing. And so this podcast is really designed to share some of my thoughts, some of the processes I used, and how I've landed on how I'm going to have an impact on the people around me to leave a positive legacy going forward. So hopefully there's some learning in there for you. Hopefully it intrigues you a bit. And if you're interested in having more conversations with me about it, I'd invite you to reach out to me on email at undothehairball@gmail.com. Go to my website, www.undothehairball.com, or make a comment on this podcast, and I'll reach right back out to you. So, a year ago, left the mandatory workforce, was in the process of getting a master's degree from Liberty University in Christian coaching. This started before I left the workforce. I knew that I wanted to pursue some sort of helping others kind of approach after I quit working. My wife, who's a clinical mental health counselor, and I have discussed doing many things together, and I felt like having some recent education on the techniques and theories around coaching, and specifically Christian coach, would be something that would help me. So I started that out about a year before I made the decision to leave the workforce. And so I was able to finish that up quicker than I expected. I had a goal to be done by the end of 2023, and I was actually wrapped up in May of 2023. So that was a good gift from my employer and my boss to give me the time to accelerate that process and move more quickly into the goal of helping others. As I finished my education, it opened up my eyes to a lot of different things. Hadn't written a paper in, 40 years? Other than business reports and things like that. But the field of academia was something I hadn't spent a ton of time in. I was a professional trainer. I was leading the training effort at a couple different companies I worked with through my tenure. And I always had a passion for personal development of others. And so that was somewhat natural to find ways to use that gift with others. I also was on quite a spiritual journey throughout my life, and was actually baptized for the second time in my life about 10 years ago. And so that led me to express my faith and belief that Jesus Christ is my Savior in a more public way, and certainly the time that I invested in helping other people in both men's groups and in couples groups at North Point Community Church was fulfilling, and was another inkling of the kind of things that I'd like to do in the future. So I was putting this plan together, and what occurred to me as I was working on it is I really wanted to understand retirement. I wanted to understand why people think of retirement the way they do, why for some people it's a scary proposition. For others, I think they're unjustifiably anxious about it or excited about it. And it just seemed like something that there was a lot of content out there, but people who are in the contemplating retirement phase certainly didn't have the time to read all the books and all the articles and do all the research and spend 2 hours on LinkedIn connecting with others. And so that became my mission, to go out there and learn as much as I can about retirement. As I did that, what I realized is a really close connection between how we handle the empty nest part of our life, for those of us who had children in the home and they went off to college or went off and got a job. The empty nest transition actually became apparent to me that that's a critical setup for your retirement transition. So that expanded my worldview a little bit about how I thought about how to help middle-aged adults navigate both the empty nest and the retirement transitions. So I was seeing a thesis out there that I could help others by learning more, developing processes and content that can help people in bite-sized chunks, self-motivated, self-directed kind of learning. So that led me to begin my process of identifying what that might look like. So when I did that, one of the things that the recurring theme that I kept seeing, that when they evaluate people who are near death and they talk about the things that became important to them at the end of their life, very few of them talked about money. Very few of them kind of talked about their career accomplishments. And I know this is fairly commonplace knowledge, but what hit home to me is what most people were concerned about was the impact they had on others throughout their life. And that is, to me, your legacy. So with that knowledge, I started noodling on what the word legacy means and how it might apply to what I was doing with empty nest and retirement phases of people's lives. And as people who know me know, I love acronyms. And so I developed an acronym. And so for legacy, to me, there are 6 components of building your legacy that I think are important. And so those 6 are longevity, empowerment, gratitude, awareness, community, and you. Legacy. So my goal was to help people understand how each of those components can impact their happiness, their mental and physical well-being, their relationships with others, the length of their life, their ability to learn and grow and feel like they're contributing to society post-work. And so it became, again, that was the framework that I used to develop the legacy program that now is out on my website, and I'll continue to build resources off of that. So in this year, I have built my own website, created this podcast, created a blog, read about 30 books, 250 articles, talked to hundreds of people in and around the retirement and empty nest phases, and just have really immersed myself in the subject. Something I wouldn't be able to do if I was still in the workforce. It was a blessing to have that. It was a blessing that I had already started my college education, my master's program. That gave me a head start on some of this. And now I'm in the process of turning the corner in 2024 to start delivering programs and resources for people that can help them navigate some of the things that I did well, some of the things that I didn't do as well as I could have, and some of the things I missed completely as I went through both my empty nest and retirement phases. So as you listen to my podcast and you read my blogs and you look at my website, what you'll see is I've really tried to develop useful tools. I started with a series of questions that are 1 minute long. I have a YouTube channel out there. They're on my website. And it's just a small little questions that help you think about your transitions in a new way, or push you to think about it in a way you don't want to think about it, or reinforce a notion that you have that, okay, I'm on the right track. My tagline for my Undo the Hairball business is getting you untangled one question at a time. I think one of the things is important as you personally grapple with the empty nest and retirement transitions. One thing that's really important is to know where to look for the information you need. And I think my website gives you a great opportunity to do that. And so that was the intent of the content on my website is truly designed just to be an open resource for people looking to do that. And hopefully by adding value to your life, as you think about your legacy, I'll have a small part in you being successful in building a personal legacy that you can be proud of. I talk about living life to the fullest a lot. That's one of the things that I like to talk about with people when they're looking at retirement. And for a lot of people, that is defined in travel, golf, of course now pickleball. There's a lot of people that define it in those terms, which are all great components of building your legacy. But as you review the 6 buckets that the acronym legacy creates, those aren't enough. Those activities, the travel, they provide some of that, but it's not enough. You have to think about how you're empowering others around you and empowering yourself. For some of you, you never had the opportunity to have an open slate, a blank slate to deal with in your work. You were working for somebody else. You were part of a process and you had a role to play. Some of you had some creative latitude to do some different things. Other of you just did your job and did it well and got paid accordingly. But this is a newfound freedom you have as you look at retirement. For many parents, when they start looking at the empty nest transition, it frees up a ton of time. I know me personally, I can't tell you how many hours I spent chasing softball players, baseball players, football players, basketball players, track athletes, lacrosse athletes. We all did that. And so all of a sudden that time becomes free to you to do other things with in the empty nest phase, still with the constraints for many of you of being in the workforce. But it's good practice to start not filling that time with empty activities, more binge watching, just reading trashy novels for book club, but really start to find time to personally grow and develop yourself. Again, to empower yourself to be more, and look for ways to empower others through volunteer work, and even work that you get paid for on the side that helps develop others. So that's part of the process as well. So that's where I am today. This 1-year anniversary, which was just in November of this year, 23, has been a moment of great reflection for me. I've achieved a lot, more than I thought I would, quite honestly. But I still have a lot I want to do. So as you listen to this podcast and as you look at my website and my blog, take it all in. Go to my YouTube channel and watch some of the videos. And then reach out to me. I'd love to have discussions with you. I certainly can sell my services as an hourly coach and give you a package and all those kind of things. But what I'm really passionate about is just helping others. And you'll see in 24, I'll start rolling out some workbooks and do some public speaking around this. But I wanted to use my 1-year anniversary to kind of put out there where I'm at, what I'm doing. Each one of you is my accountability partner. If you don't see me progressing, feel free to call me out. I'll be reaching out more to some of my friends, business leaders in both the Atlanta area and the Anderson, Fairplay, South Carolina area, where my wife Sue and I will retire sometime next year. And the Fairplay, Anderson area, where my wife Sue and I will relocate sometime next year to continue our work in building our legacy. I appreciate all the support I've gotten so far. It's been well received, used, and appreciated. I look forward to doing more. If any of you are interested in being part of this podcast, would love to have a conversation with me, reach out. I'm looking for people that are looking at empty nest and retirement transitions in the future. Those of you that have navigated empty nest and retirement transitions in the past and would like to share your story. I think stories are a very powerful way of communicating to people the possibilities of the next phase of life. Finally, I want to end with one of my favorite verses in the Bible. Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there is a season. And that's so true. That entire chapter 3 in Ecclesiastes, is a powerful statement for those of you looking at transitions. It really positions how God feels about the transitions and what we have in front of us and what opportunities we have. It's a great foundation to kind of build your plan around to create a legacy you can be proud of. And I'm happy to have those conversations as well. Again, thank you to everybody out there. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. I'll be back with some interviews in December and January. And when I'm inspired, I'll bring a solo effort like today and share some of my thoughts as we go on. I appreciate every one of you. I love you all. And I want you to go out and make it a great day.